the silverware.
What is happening? There's something about the last 2 days of regular season, or like the last weekend of regular season, just everybody loses their goddamn mind.
Absolutely don't know. I don't know where to go from this. Jaws, take it over.
Well, yeah.
Back on
you
track.
know what's cool about this series? Two of my favorite colors facing off: blue and another shade of blue.
Oh, you're right.
Very epic.
That's some yellow in there for fall. Thanks, Boston.
Yeah. Yeah, true, actually. Yeah, a little bit. What would be really funny, we've been like mixing up the team colors and stuff throughout the season. I think it would be really funny, actually not funny for us, if they both rolled out on their home colors, so they were both blue, and it was just a like a literal sea of blue players.
I think that'd be funny for like a map, or like a team fight for like April Fools or something. But I don't know if anybody would want to try to figure out who's who in like a blue team versus blue team home color situation.
I mean, it would be pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's what it's all about.
Especially when they start wrapping around there, right? Like, you know, where they switch offense and defense sometimes when like they try to get the whole wraparound deal. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be less off the goop in that series than Danny is right now. I mean, Danny's just a happy guy, though, so I'm down. All right, let's have a look at who's starting on New York Excelsior. Of course, like they were mentioning on the desk, these guys are out right now, so they want to end their season with a bang. And we got Yaki, Flora, Kellen, Ho1, and Gangnam Jin for the starting 5. Now, Rose, we've seen a little bit of success from New York the latter half of the stage. I mean, or like the regular season, I suppose. There's been some pop-off moments. I like that. And will they be able to recreate the same thing in this series? I mean, it seems like a bit more of a fairer matchup, considering New York's recent opponents. You know?
I mean,
Boston Uprising have obviously made it into the play-ins, but New York Excelsior, maybe they can feel themselves. If Yaki has another god game of performance, maybe they take a dub.
Yeah, I think that New York had a rough stage. They had to play the Gladiators, the Rain. Oh my gosh, like their schedule was just a little tough, but when you look at their win over Toronto Defiant, which was a very close 5-map series towards the beginning of the stage, I think you can look at Ho1's Ana as being really standout. Gangnam Jin's Zenyatta has been such a fantastic force and kind of cohesive presence for the Excelsior as well, to make sure that everybody's target focusing, and then Yaki and Flora can kind of just do their thing.
Let's look at their opponents today. Johnny wanted to see some Seeker, and it looks like we're gonna get our wish. All right, Seeker, Victoria. No V brothers right now, Rose. We've got Punk, Faith, and Karimzo, or Hat Guy.
You know what's really interesting about seeing Seeker in the lineup is that this is the first time Boston Uprising, this stage, have looked to use Seeker as a starting 5. Predominantly when Seeker has been seen for the Boston Uprising, it's really been on Circuit Royale to be able to go in and play that Sojourn. So looking at our first map being a control map, I really wonder how Seeker's going to fit into the mix. Are we going to see some Sojourn predominantly, or are we going to see something to really help enable Victoria a little bit more? You know, maybe with a bit more of the dive with Punk.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the world's their oyster right now, right? They're playing on the same patch right now as they will be in play-in, so flexing a little bit, getting some more stage time for Seekers could be fairly important. I fully agree with Johnny on that point. Just having him in a few games here that don't necessarily mean a whole bunch. I mean, Boston are locked in, New York are locked out, I suppose. So having Seeker come in and play some games alongside Victoria is going to be nice. And remember, Seeker Rose, he came into the season kind of hot. Like, late, of course, for the Boston Uprising, but his first match on the Sojourn, he was putting up some numbers.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's what I'm really looking forward to. And when you think about as well that next to Victoria, when Victoria is going to be the one that really plays like the Sombra, but we've seen Flex over to the Sojourn, you know, does that mean maybe Seeker shows us another side where we get some Tracer from Seeker as well? We know the Sojourn's great, but what else does Seeker have in his pocket here to really give Boston an edge going into play-ins?
Yeah, it's about finding that edge, right? I mean, New York Excelsior probably not going to go easy on them. They're not going to want to just end the season on a lackluster game. You might as well play your heart out. Still an official, of course. We are going to Control Center as our first map. I mean, it's quite indicative of Sojourn gameplay, although most maps you can run Sojourn. It's not too much of an issue.
Yeah, well, that's why I thought that was really interesting, because like looking at Boston's historical history on Lijiang, it's really been Valentine in the mix, and just being able to play that Tracer, or we even saw some really interesting comps for Boston on Control Center actually, where they tried this kind of Mei, Sojourn, Orisa style of comp, which we're not seeing here today, because I think both teams have figured out that Zarya really is the dominant tank right now.
All right, Seeker is rolling out on the Sojourn. No Tracer just yet, Rose, but might still see someone a little later. Lamp goes down fairly for Boston Uprising as they take control of that server room. Excelsior taking a whole heap of damage. Pretty easy for New York and Boston Uprising, just kind of spam through the choke. And Victoria, one of the V brothers, picks up a nice double kill on the back line of the New York Excelsior as the Boston Uprising only lose a single DPS in that fight and managed to gain the point.
Yeah, look at that. Even Flora is going to go ahead and reset even after taking out Victoria, just to be able to get back as a team of 5. You're still looking at Kellen walking away with a ton of damage, though. Just barely outpacing Punk right now towards that Graviton Surge. But you can tell that, you know, Kellen has always been one of those types of players that's a little bit more reactive, and so Zarya fits his playstyle really well to be able to use those bubbles, and then once he's high charge, move in.
Ooh. Nice shot on Flora. Takes out the Sojourn. Fast push for the Boston Uprising. No chance for Kellen there. Separate from the rest of his team. Boston Uprising looking pretty good. I always like holding the choke here. Although with these combos with no shield, it can be a little bit deadly sometimes, especially if Flora's kind of spamming through and then lines up a railgun shot. It can be quite tough.
Yeah.
Yaki taking a slightly different approach, just poking away, but that's about it. I mean, ults are approaching for the Boston Uprising with that window to play. We'll see how Yaki wants to go in, straight to the back line. The window goes down for Crimso. Same thing for Ho1 in that choke point. Blade pulled, the Graviton Surge used, and it should be an easy cleanup now for the Boston Uprising, who've already annihilated Ho1. And the rest of Excelsior will join him in spawn.
Well, that's what I worry about with the aggressive nature of Boston Uprising push, not only to hold close, but also how reactive Kellen plays. Those styles really don't mix well for the New York Excelsior. Kellen takes a little too long to try to engage here, but at least, yeah, you got out 3 ultimates from Boston Uprising. Faith doesn't have the sound barrier up yet, so this is Kellen's chance.
Nice grab. Instantly finishing Punk off there. Faith, even though he got a few final blows in that previous fight, he wasn't able to build up to that beat in time. Kellen makes an aggressive push into the back line, taking care of Crimso. Seeker trying to even this fight up. Ooh, don't test him, Gangnam Jin. Okay, Seeker just takes his head clean off. Can he continue this rampage from the high ground? Ho1 is extremely low. He's managed to get away from the oncoming Boston Uprising members, and they do manage to find the flip. But Boston Uprising still with 99%. Seeker thought he could take that one in his stride, wasn't able to pull it out though.
But what's really impressive for New York is that they really only used that Graviton Surge from Kellen to start things off. That enabled the elimination onto Punk, and then without that front line, it was really easy for New York to get the follow-up to get that point cap. That really leaves Boston with not much. I mean, Seeker used that overclock as well in that last fight, so it's up to Faith. Sound barrier, we're just, I guess, getting a pick.
Yeah, I mean, okay, New York have lost one. They decide to go pretty ham with that beat. When the beat comes out, the Boston Uprising, Yaki trying to make it painful, but runs himself into a lamp. Doesn't hit himself in the head, though. He ends up backing up and surviving, and New York are going to have to. Boston Uprising, all the meanwhile, have managed to flip that point. A window from Ho1. Little to no avail as Flora was shooting through it with that railgun, but the Boston Uprising just speed on past, shattering the window, and round number 1. Take it to 100-30 there. Control center.
Score.
Wow, yeah, I mean, when Boston get momentum, they take it and they run with it. And so that was a really fast round for them, 0 to 100, 0 to 99, I guess, and then, you know, getting the point flip back. But we're going to continue to see this Zarya look, especially on these control maps. You know, for Punk, we've seen the Zarya and the D.Va, but when you have Seeker in the mix, I feel like it's really about trying to make sure that the Zarya can go in and chunk down these lower health targets, or set up Seeker to really, you know, click some heads with those charged up railgun shots. Either way, I think Boston having Seeker in the lineup does force their hand a little bit to play this Zarya composition, but it looks really, really good for them so far.
Just went down to see that. All right, same compositions for both New York and Boston. How do they handle this mid-fight? Once again, Excelsior are quick to rotate, but maybe a little bit too quick as Gannon Jin ends up falling over, and Kellen was joining the rest of his team in that little courtyard area. All right, Yaki at least takes down Seeker. That's one major damage source down. Victoria's in a little bit of trouble. Oh, can he get the kill? He does. Nice little ghost dash there from Victoria too. Escaping back to the rest of his team as the Boston Uprising, they'll cap first once again.
You can see maybe a little flank happening here as Victoria tries to go out into the open space, pushing New York Excelsior all the way back. Like, they were there right at the entrance of point and wanted to try to aggress, especially when Boston Uprising were still waiting for one member to come back. But when Punk pushes up this far, especially with Victoria, there's nowhere for New York to go.
All right, trade 1-for-1 Crimzo for Flora. As Victoria trying to stop this flank from the New York Excelsior. Unable to do so as Punk also ends up going down. Excelsior playing this game at a fairly high pace. But the Boston Uprising, they're still making these fights fairly long. So it's not the worst. She still got some free cap time there, but Excelsior do manage to get that flip. Now the ultimate's coming online. How do the Excelsior deal with this window coming out from Crimzo? A bit of a dangerous map to get windowed off.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe New York can kind of dish it right back to him. Just kind of push forward beyond the window. Yaki's going to try to wrap around it.
He is, but the rest of Excelsior are backing up. So it's a 4 on point and then Yaki on the flank. Yaki does have a blade at 10%. Here's the winner from Ho1. Quite far forward, but it doesn't matter because Punk was already on the retreat. A lot of low health members on the side of Excelsior, but it's all good. Boston Uprising had two different plans there by the looks of it. Punk went in, and even before the window came up, he had to escort himself out, or at least try to, and he ended up going down anyway.
That was super smart the way that New York played that. You know, they gave a lot of respect to Crimzo's amplification matrix, and then by the time Boston were ready to move in, New York had their own, so Ho1 was able to put that amplification matrix up and really push Boston Uprising back, and unfortunately, yeah, Punk's gonna get caught out there with low health, but also Yaki could have come in and finished the job too. But Dragon plays now.
Blade and a beat, Victoria dashed in, dashed out straight away, and Seeker's head also dashed across the pavement. The Boston Uprising have got a couple of bolts in their back pocket and are gonna unleash one of them. A beat and a grab, and in fact 2 grabs for Flora. He had a charge shot ready for Punk there as he was caught in the Graviton surge coming out from Kellen, and Yaki pulled the blade. So Rose, everybody hit Q, and New York came up on top. There you go, that's what happened in that fight.
No, that's great analysis. I don't think I need to add anything else to that one. Just prepare for the fight ahead. Last fight territory here for New York Excelsior, and they got the window, potentially. It could just be a repeat of what we saw from Boston before. Crimzo popping the Amp Matrix first, and then New York following it up.
Aggressive dash from Flora there, trying to push Boston Uprising back. Boston still need to touch, mind you. They do end up capping, but look how far they're playing. Faith, Ho1 goes down, but the unwavering amount of damage from Excelsior might be a bit too much trouble for Boston Uprising. They used a window to kill Kellen, so actually this might be a turnaround, but Flora is kind of dominating. Someone stop him? Crimzo eventually does. Boston Uprising, all the meanwhile, Rose have capped the point, as Excelsior still trying to push in to clean up Uprising, but it's not going to happen. Boston remain in control. That was a very strange...
That was weird. So I appreciate what New York was trying to do there, right? They recognized, okay, maybe somebody is on their lonesome trying to go recap the point. And yes, that's going to happen. But if we can take this 5v4 and win out here, then we get to take the point right back. But now, that didn't quite work out the way New York wanted to, and now this is really last fight.
It really is. 85 to 95. Window goes down for Ho1. He's healing someone through. He's healing Kellen through it. But he does end up, again, fading away. Boston Uprising. They've got a beat. That's about it. They can't have anybody go down. As I say, that floor ends up falling. The beat from Excelsior, but the Graviton Surge is going to have to be good enough. Yaki with a triple kill in that fight. And now the touch from Excelsior. It's 99% for the Boston Uprising, but they're wiped clean off the face of the map. Excelsior knew they needed to go quickly, and they pulled it out of the bag. I mean, Uprising, they unfortunately just didn't have any ults coming up. Like, they were a few percentage points away from Blade, the overclock, the window, and the grab. Like, that was just an unfortunate kind of mistiming there. Man, Excelsior just had those ultimates just a couple of percentage points sooner.
Well, I think that has something to do with the fight where everybody pressed Q. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that has something to do with it, because there was a lot that happened in this replay. But also the fact that Yaki was able to just kind of dash through everybody. I mean, I don't know how much that really would have been able to save you, even if you could have gotten like an overclock online or anything to push them back. Like Yaki was still in your face, had deflect. I think that still goes the way of New York, but maybe Boston would have had a bit more of a fighting chance if they did get something online to be able to contest with that grab. But let's run it back, shall we? More of the same as we enter into Gardens as our third round.
All right, Victoria does it again. That's an easy triple for Victoria. He takes down both supports, and then the fight is basically won off the back of that. It's the first time this season, too, Victoria has played Genji. He's already kind of showing up on it.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. I feel like most of the time when we've ever seen Victoria flex over off of like the Sombra this stage, we've seen a little bit of Widowmaker, so that would have been on Circuit Royale to play next to Seeker's Sojourn, or we've just seen like Tracer, even bits and pieces of Tracer. But I love this Genji look that we're seeing so far, and it's really doing Boston a lot of favors, especially to just take control of the point first and hopefully hold on to it as Victoria gets closer to that Dragon Blade.
Yeah, notoriously hard point to actually capture, though, with the amount of cover on the point itself and all the pillars you can hide around. Excelsior almost managed to get the cap there, but Boston Uprising do step their little tootsies on the point just before it does flip. Lamp already used by Crimso, but now he's got the window online, maybe supplementing the damage for Seeker. There you go. But like I said, a lot of cover here on this point, so this window might not do a crazy amount. Ho wants one will, though, as he wraps around the corner with it, trying to stay alive. But Victoria, once again, just takes him clean out of the sky and out of the equation. Yaki's trying to turn the tide with a kill onto Punk and pulls the blade. The beat instantly matched by Faith, as now Yaki is still trying to chunk through it. That's like 17 swings and then some on Crimso, and he manages to take him out. That beat from Faith looked good, but Yaki's persistence paid off.
Yeah, oh my goodness. And they were able to capture the point too, all while that chaos was still happening, so they're going to be racking up that percentage pretty quickly. And on top of that as well, when you get the sound barrier out of here, now Flora might be able to kind of start the defense off here with an overclock as Boston try to make their way through White Room here. All right, Flora's got that overclock online.
There's the blade. That's a lot of deflect. That's a lot of damage. That was a 3-man dash from Victoria, but he is pretty low, so he ends up backing off. Beautiful headshot there from Flora, or a differential headshot in the kill feed, but it looked like it was. But Seeker takes him out. Both DPS dead for New York Excelsior, followed by Gangnam Jin. Kellen and Ho1 are still alive, and you can see Ho1 just chilling in the hut, and the Boston Uprising making their swift re-approach. They only have to deal with 2 for the moment, at least. Excelsior are coming back with reinforcements. Flora arrives on the scene, but already chunked down by Seeker's railgun as the point is being contested. Excelsior still in control as a window is now used by Crimso, and look at the critical health across the field from Excelsior there. No help, no healing for Excelsior with Ho1 dead. As Boston Uprising, they do find the flip in the end.
Wow, these fights have been so scrappy though as well. You know, it feels like such a big contrast to what we saw in round number 1, where Boston Uprising were in such a commanding driver's seat. But now it's like New York Excelsior, they just needed that round to warm up, and all of a sudden it's like 68 to 70% here on the third point, and last round was also 99 to 100. So let's see what Ho1 can do here, opening things up with the Amplification Matrix. Boston Uprising really don't have an answer to anything that New York Excelsior have right now. No ults.
All right. Window for Ho1. Just trying. Oh, that was close. Almost got taken out before he could even do any impact with that window. There's the beat. So both support ultimates used by the Excelsior now. Can Boston Uprising survive it? They have already had to use their lamp, and with Punk dying, the front line dwindling. However, Ho1 had to use his lamp too, so maybe a small victory there, but will it be enough? Doesn't look like it. Yaki's on the case. Overtime for the Boston Uprising, but the Excelsior, they get the cap. 70% now building. Looking like last fight Rose coming up. Yaki's got Blade. Kellen's nearing that grab.
Yeah, so Amplification Matrix and Sound Barrier being used here for New York Excelsior is pretty big for Boston. Now, all of a sudden, New York don't have an answer to the Blade, and that's really what you're saving the Sound Barrier for right now. Sometimes Immortality Field just isn't enough because one slash from the Genji is going to take it out for you.
Oh, look at the speed, look at the pace. Yaki, no HP. Oh, see ya. He got cleaned out of the sky there. Seeker on the other hand, popping that overclock, dashing over the pond. Oh, an easy headshot for Kellen, was basically walking in a straight line. A good lamp save, Seeker and Punk in that Graviton Surge. That was Kellen's parting gift to the Boston Uprising. The point will end up getting flipped as a free grab from Punk is thrown out. Not even sure anybody was caught in it. More of an oppressive one, just making sure Excelsior, I suppose, can't get on that point. They are able to recontest, of course, but with this many members going down this quickly, looks pretty unwinnable unless there's some crazy pop-off moment from Flora. Nope, there is not. Uprising, they take map number 1, Rose.
Wow, and a close map number 1, though, as well. I mean, again, like, you know, just how New York woke up from round number 1 to Market and then to Gardens. This is going to be a pretty good series, and what else would you expect between two teams that have maybe the longest standing sports rivalry in the entire world?
True.
Big
true
if true.
And accurate.
Big if true.
Honestly, I'm going to be real, I wouldn't know. That's, yeah. American sports whooshes over my head. When Matt talks about it, it's like...
I said that one just for Matt. That was all for Matt.
Good. Yeah, that's good. You got to throw Matt a bone every now and then.
Every once in a while.
All right, map number 1, Boston Uprisings, New York Excelsior. Pretty close. It was a really scrappy affair. We'll see if that carries on in map number 2. We're going to Eichenwalde as the next map after this. Welcome back. Uprising off to a decent start with a 2-1 on Control. We're just going to talk about it in the break, about how everybody's dressed as kind of a fall, but, you know, Rose has got the space theme going on. I was saying, maybe we should start normalizing the fancy dress kind of costume, or like the dressing up kind of stuff on broadcast. We did the onesies already, right?
Yeah.
I could have come today in like a flying saucer.
Oh my God.
Cool,
just wear like a giant sun around your head.
Yeah, that would have been.
I don't know.
Cool.
Just throwing out ideas.
You're like astronaut kind of suit, kind of dealio, and then yeah, that would have been pretty sweet. Normalize that stuff on broadcast, especially regular season. Then we get serious stuff and play into playoffs. Okay. All right. Speaking about serious things, Boston Uprising very serious about keeping Seeker in. That's about as much I got with that one. Seeker Victoria is still in the line.
Good try.
so no V brothers here.
No.
As we go to Ikevalda. Excelsior, of course, also sticking with their same lineup. Seeing a lot more Ho-On. We've seen across the season, to be fair. So that's also been a nice little surprise.
It has been. It's been a really nice surprise. I remember you and I actually casted the first game that Ho-On really came into for this stage. And so I remember you and I being very impressed by how Ho-On was managing the Ana cooldowns to sleep very important ulting targets or get these massive bio grenades that really help to enable New York Excelsior's push. But as we've seen these teams evolve their view of the meta and how they want to try to play with the heroes that are available now in the current patch, it's been a lot more Baptiste, and so that's been really fun to see Ho-On kind of grow into that character as well.
Yeah, Bap is super strong right now.
So strong.
Super good. Who knew Mortality Field was still amazing? Normally, could be me.
A window looks bigger too. I don't know if it's just me, but the window looks way bigger than it used to.
Maybe because there's less people on the map to stand behind it.
Oh,
so
that's what I bet that's what it is. Yeah, there's like more dead space now because it's 5v5.
Yeah, exactly. So you're like, whoa, it's huge.
Yeah.
But really, it's the same size.
But it looks massive.
It does. It does.
Oh my God.
That was brave, Victoria.
Still took the shot anyway.
Genji. Yeah, I know. He's like, I know you're reflecting, but maybe I catch you.
Maybe you get scared.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've done that way too many times. I'm like, okay, when's his reflector knee? Now, and then I die. I'm like, oh.
Or it's just an intimidation tactic, you know? You just gotta like be like, yeah, I would totally do it. Don't you try me, I will.
Very fast to engage here from the Boston Uprising. A lot of damage. Seems trying to approach. Excelsior just kind of giving away a lot of space. Like, Helen's alone. Oh, yeah, okay. He gets punished for it, too. Seeing his headshot accuracy on this Sojourn has been incredible thus far. Point is being captured by Boston Uprising. Excelsior just kind of bleeding out. Gaki dies. Helen's dead. Like, this is a pretty free cap for Boston.
Yeah, it's going to be a super, super fast take. I mean, having 5.5 minutes to try to assail the castle probably feels pretty good right about now. Crimzo as well, just really pumping out the healing and the damage. Gonna have that amplification matrix online for when they start rounding that first corner. And when you are contesting with that high ground, that's a pretty great way to just kind of play on cart. Use that window to push back New York and then, yeah, start getting some more payload progress. Victoria's up there too. Oh, man.
All right, see ya.
I didn't even know where Gangnam Gym was. I just saw Victoria jump up and I was like, oh wait, Lucio's dead.
I don't know. His poor lifeless body is just on that little bit of rubble there. Just blended in.
I'm so sad.
R.I.P. R.I.P. It's alright though, he's Lucio, he's back.
Yeah, I know.
As he died. All good. Alright, winning for Ho-On. I hear a blade in the background. Yeah, oh, Ho-On. Land. Dead. Oh, he does get grabbed. He's lost it. He has it. There's the blade. There's the beats. A lot of ults thrown in there for the Boston Uprising. Very nice play from Victoria. Ho-On, I saw Ho-On, he was trying to use that window on the staircase, Rose.
Yeah.
And I heard the blade behind him, and you're like, well, I guess I die now.
What was really interesting about that is that, like, I would have never expected Boston to take a fight there. You know, when you think about trying to meet the defending team on high ground, it's usually on that bridge, right? But you play Tiny Overwatch, I don't know. Play Tiny Overwatch.
Oh, Blade and beats. Okay, Yaki doesn't really have to deflect, although the cooldown is down anyway. He is trying to get recess off the Batiste. Doesn't really find the kill, but Punk does end up dying. Did get a reset off Punk, and maybe he didn't even hit him in like he did, but apparently not. Seeking gets chased away. Both overclocks used at the beginning of that fight, but Excelsior do manage to hold on to the payload. It was about a meter or two away from capping, so it's not going to be a speed record here.
I wasn't stressed. I wasn't stressed. I was like, no, it's C9 today. It's fine. Everything is fine.
I mean, APAC have given enough C9s
yes,
to last
they
a
have.
lifetime last night, so maybe no C9s today.
Oh, Punk has grab. That's what we're going to talk about. Punk has grab. Watch out for Punk.
You have 0 energy though, which feels extraordinarily bad. Grab comes in anyway. He's going to try and just body block. Nice use of the bubble there. Body block in Cullen, so he can't receive a lot of healing. It's a bit more difficult to weave around. The Zarya bubbles that can encapsulate most of the door. Boston Uprising still moving that point. No one can touch from Excelsior. Everybody's super low. Punk just flinging out the 0 charge or close to 0 charge. Right clicks and picking off kills. And the doors are battered down, and with 4 minutes to go, Boston Uprising looking pretty okay. I mean, they've got a window for this final corner, but Excelsior have got some key ultimates coming up.
I should tell you how strong Zarya is right now, that you can be 0 charge and absolutely ego the other Zarya by grabbing them and then killing them. Yeah.
Speaking of grabs, there's one. Lamb, is it going to be able to help them? It does. Punk stays alive somehow. Oh my god, the windows are crossed. Universe is opening with those windows. Faith and Victoria and Punk and Seeker, everybody from the Boston Uprising in that kill feed right now. Crimzo just needs to make his way back, pick up a kill for his own. Boston Uprising surviving that Graviton surge. Excelsior with both DPS ults available are going to come out of that spawn. Boston Uprising just tempering their aggression, have to back off away from Crimzo, but they do have beat and Blade, so it might be an easier finish than Excelsior really anticipate.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you just look at the Blade, and then Secret can also use the Overclock too, but Flora's first.
There's the Blade, there's the beat, there's one reset, straight to spawn. Nice move from Gangnam Jin, and luckily enough, Yaki and Gangnam Jin make it back to the spawn doors, but they end up not touching. Bit of a difficult situation there, wouldn't really call it a C9,
That's
but
not a C9.
I guess you could if it's a stretch. A lot of ults forcing Excelsior to run back into their spawn.
Yeah, I think that was just a really result of a divide and conquer strategy there for Boston, where the Genji Blade went one way, the Overclock went another, and New York didn't really have an option. They could have died on cart, but that would have not stalled for much longer than to try to back away. I mean, you've got 2 separate things happening. I think that just confuses the wires sometimes, and you don't really know who's going to go touch. But I would not call that a C9. I think that was a very tactical approach by Boston.
Just Blade in the spawn doors.
Yeah.
It's a good approach. As long as you have some sort of lamp or beat or whatever. I think I've spoken about this before on broadcast, but it's always really interesting seeing how Genji as a character has evolved over the years. Coming in from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2, obviously, but the change in how people play, how much better people have got like individually. You go back to like when Overwatch first came out and there were tournaments running just like a kind of like an open circuit kind of thing.
Yeah.
Man, Genji Blade nowadays has negative impact almost some of the time. It's pretty scary. Compared to Genji of old. Still Victoria.
Yeah, New York just like,
but yeah, you're not scared of the Blade at all, you know what I mean? Like Lucio's are so good at this point of like saving hoops or like even Briggs, like saving flail and sound barrier.
That's
although
true.
Blade back in the day too, Rose, it lasted a lot longer than it does now. Like it was a ridiculous
Yeah, it was like
time.
10 seconds. It was something like actually really absurd. I think it's way more tuned now to what is appropriate for multiple different skill levels. But yeah, it still remains that like, you know, sometimes you'll see the Blade pop off, but it's not going to be like your ranked games where maybe your supports in Overwatch League just have such a good reaction time to be able to help get the Genji away from you.
Everybody's just got super good. Speaking of super good, Victoria, that's just the first map. It's his first time playing Genji and already looking kind of clean with it. All right, Yaki. Victoria has lost Yaki. Where's Waldo? Where's Yaki? He's dead.
Where's Victoria?
It's all good. It's true. Wrong side of the map.
Yeah, where is everybody? Okay, well, New York are going to try to come back into this one. Crimzo already has the amplification matrix. At this point, I'm really not surprised. The amount of just skill. I was looking for something more creative than that, but just the amount of skill that Crimzo shows us every single time, whether he's playing, you know, the Ana or the Zen or the Baptiste, like, amps up. It's time to make a window and send Victoric, I think, back to spawn. Oh, and the grab too?
Grab. Yeah, nothing surviving that one. Woo, that AoE damage. That was a grab. That was a bit of grab damage there, and Seeker also using that disruptor shot straight on top of that grab. So yeah, a lot of ticking damage. You take it, and then obviously all the extra bits and pieces thrown in with Crimzo's window. Yeah, Boston Uprising looking and feeling pretty good. 2 minutes to go for Excelsior, unable to crack even just a single attack on the point.
Yeah, I was so focused on Crimzo's amp matrix that I just kind of forgot to realize that Punk had a grab, because you don't expect that. You don't expect your Zarya to keep up with your Baptiste in terms of ult charge. Not at all.
Window being used for a little bit of space there. Victoria dashes up with that blade, notices the beat comes down, but still slashing away. Forces the land, forces the beat. Very few defensive tools there for Excelsior. Can they turn this one around? Faith does fall, but so does Yaki. It's a fairly scrappy fight as things go. Excelsior getting their ult time a little bit later. They do manage to kind of bait Punk in a way, take him out. They will be able to claim this first point, but they do expend a whole bunch to do it. Yaki saved the blade, so maybe that's at least somewhat useful, taking control of the castle.
Yeah, that'll really help to at least capture the high ground. And when you're looking at everybody else not having anything yet to be able to contest that, then yeah, go for it. Now you're really looking at maybe the boop from Faith to try to push Yaki away, and that the immortality field from Crimzo will buy you enough time if you're Boston. But they're taking this really split approach here. Boston has a few members up by the castle doors and a couple of people on the high ground as well. So I like that. You get that long range damage, and you got to kind of get through the main arsenal first of Punk's cannon there.
Yeah, I mean, he's got grab too, right? Yaki is just
basically, yeah,
beating on the right-hand side. Faith finds a boop onto Gangnam Jin. Like that too. It's been a bit of a rough game for Yaki so far. He's only got 3 limbs, 0 final blows, and 8 deaths. Like,
wow.
Yeah, his impact, not exactly what we're looking for out of young Yaki.
Yeah, that's a little rough. It's a little rough, but maybe with this Dragon Blade, we're finding an opportunity to use it. Will be good to help pad some of those stats, but Punk's gonna use the grab first.
A little B-hop, you love to see it. The lamp comes down for Ho1, but Crimzo's window, oh, it's actually taken care of. Yaki actually, all right, Yaki. Couple of final blows now, yeah, all right. I like to see it. But the Boston Uprising, they were able to back off with Punk staying alive, at least for the time being. If he can get out with energy, that'll be good for Boston, but it does like Callan is chasing him down with the help of Gangnam Jin. Although Punk does get saved by a lamp from Crimzo, who ends up taking down Kellan. Oh, what? Okay, Kellan just overextends with Gangnam Jin, trying to take care of Punk, but ends up biting him in the butt.
Yeah. Wow, I mean, this is just kind of clinical here from Boston. Despite how much Yaki was able to do with that Dragon Blade, it just really wasn't enough to convert over to progress here for New York. It did allow them some time to get some poke, so now Kellan has his grab. Flora is going to have an overclock sometime soon, especially if you put the disruptor shot right on top, but Victoria actually just gets blasted.
Deleted. Big grab though, huge grab in fact. From
Kellan. Oh.
They gotta kill him. There it is. Alrighty. Flora, look at all the assists and the kill feed there. It was a little bit ridiculous. Flora disruptor shot and then just left clicking into that grab. Humongous coming out from Kellan. Alright, Boston Uprising, they still have another approach. They got the overclock from Seeker. He's gonna match Flora though, so Sojourn versus Sojourn now.
Yep. The Sojourn fares a little bit better on the defense there with the overclock, and we've got that architecture to play around.
Yeah, you also got that beat, so yeah,
that helps too.
Feels pretty good. Yeah, you ain't dying there. Seeker can just jump in, no problems. The amount of Sojourns I've seen just pop overclock, shift in without any protection, then get insta-killed by... Yeah, well, they try and become tank, and then they instantly die because they forget they're not immortal when they're using Overclock. Well, you do feel it. That's one of the funniest things or funnest things about Sojourn's kit. You feel immortal when you pop the Overclock,
yes.
but remember, you are very mortal, 200 HP.
Oh yes, you are still very
worth keeping in mind. 20 seconds to go though, Rose. Graviton Surge from Punk, and that window from high ground.
Oh.
Yep. That's it.
That's it.
Oh dear. I mean, the rate at Punk and Crimson in stacking these ultimates is, you could do
that's ridiculous.
Actually negative. Is anyone going to touch? I mean, Ganonjin's just going to get booped. There's no way, right? Nope. Goodbye, Excelsior. Map number 2 goes to the Boston Uprising. There you go. Victoria jumps off the map, and Seeker just on Tracer in spawn. Feels pretty good. Yeah, that was a pretty rough game for Excelsior there. I mean, Boston Uprising had 40 kills at the end of it. Excelsior only with 19, so Diff really felt from the Boston Uprising. A few nice little plays from Flora and Helen, big grabs, and a couple of nice overclocks, but that's really about it. For the final game of the season, I want Excelsior to go out with a bang, but right now it's a little more than a whimper. We're going to jump to a quick break. We'll see if we can be map number 5. Possible, but Boston Uprising want to make it improbable. We'll see you in a bit. The clock is ticking. No better time than now. Celebrate the Countdown Cup legendary skin. Clockwork Zenyatta on sale now for just 300 League tokens in the new Owl shop in Overwatch 2. Yes, it's a good skin. Gives you, it feels like, for me at least, it gave me damage buff. My Zen looking pretty clean recently, I will say. The right clicks are looking good. But yeah, pick up the skin. It's pretty sick one. And I think there's still that bundle available. Not sure. I haven't checked the weekly shop yet. So, but yeah, there's a bundle for some of the older Owl skins as well if you've missed that. But the Clockwork Zenyatta one is a must grab if you're a Zen player. And Zen's pretty good in ranked still. So
Zen is very good in ranked.
Worth picking up, unless you're, you know, on certain maps, I will say. Sometimes, of course, play Lucio against my will.
True. Understandable. Have a nice day, Jazz. Jazz? What did I call
Jazz?
Because I went for Jaws, and I was like, I actually don't know if I want to call him by his first name or his tag. You're Jazz now.
Jazz. Excellent. That's my new Smurf name. Or I could just change one of my other accounts to Jazz now.
There you go. Yeah, I just christened you with a new name. There you go.
Perfect. Circuit Royale is the map. Boston Uprising 2-0 up into the series.
Oh, I was thinking of the piano here. No, there you go. I was thinking about
there you go. Yeah, that's definitely how you came up with that one. Yeah, We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
My brain is funny.
Like I said, end of the reg season, so all good. Regular season very much coming to an end. And Boston, New York Excelsior, come on, man. Show us a bit of life here. Boston Uprising kind of running away with this one right now. I mean, Victoria's been looking good on his first time. Genji, Seeker too, they're giving him some playtime, which is always good, especially going into play-ins. If they even make playoffs, different meta, maybe Seeker's better on that kind of meta. They always want people to be warmed up, so good to see him taking the limelight for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is Circuit Royale, which is one of the maps we predominantly saw Seeker on when Boston flexed him into the roster. Might start out on the Widowmaker to see if he can get a quick pick, but at the end of the day, I think Sojourn really looks like his bread and butter right now. I don't know how much we're going to see him actually swap off of that, given how proficient it was and successful on Li Zhang and Eichenwalde for the first two maps of the series. And this could close it out here for Boston, so New York have to pick it up here.
Oh, that got reflected. Lucky Yaki's aim was ever so slightly off there. Seeker. All good. Okay, switch back to Sojourn there, Rose. So no Widowmakers on either side. Just both teams happy to run with kind of what they've been running. Gangnam Jin's on the Zen instead of the Lucio, and he's dead. So there you go.
That might be tough. I'm going to say the Zenyatta might be a little tough to run here. I think without the mobility, you just don't have a whole lot of your kit either to help you with against a Genji like Victoria's. So yeah, smart swap there from Gangnam Jin. You don't have the Sigma either, so that can make it a little rough for you not having that shield or someone help heal for you. But now Gangnam Jin is back and can help to kind of micro move the team around.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there with the zero shield, a bit harder for the Zen. Or against the better Seeker. All right, luckily Gangnam Jin getting back to the rest of his team there, which is just kind of forward. Nice kill on Punk. Okay, remove that energy. Can they get any more staggers? Doesn't look like it. Everybody made it back to spawn in time. Oh, saying that. Nah, he's good. He got the dash. All Gucci. Sorry, it's already in the almost in the graph. 30% away and 20% away, respectively, for Uprising and Excelsior.
Yeah, I mean, Zarya's been able to charge up their grabs pretty fast. Like, you're still going to be a little shocked if, you know, Kellen or Punk can keep up with the amplification matrix charge, but we're looking at that right now. Literally, Kellen is going to have grab. Whenever Boston move in, Kellen will have grab. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Kind of throw it down and then pop the window. Okay, grab. Oh, grab in the doorway. Can anybody actually get to Punk or like is in LOS of him? Yeah, okay, the lamp actually just saves his life completely. Yaki does end up killing Victoria, however, who tried to make a play in the back line. And now the Boston Uprising, who have used their, only used their window, going to be able to get a free grab on Surge here. Ganajin 40% away or thereabouts away from his sound barrier.
I mean, the Graviton Surge was good there from New York to use in the doorway, but that actually allowed Ho1 to, or Crimzo, excuse me, to pop the Immortality field by the wall so that New York couldn't access it. Good Baptiste will do that.
Well, the Graviton Surge still going to be invested even without Seeker being alive. Yaki trying to hide behind those signposts. Victoria still managing to send those shurikens, careening at Kellen's head. Blade pull. There's the bubble on Victoria. He's so low. Oh, Uprising. They ended up using the sound barrier there from Faith, but they're still taken down by Flora's overclock. That was a fairly decent blade, but didn't end up working out. The Boston Uprising, they're still losing members. Punk and Crimzo end up falling, and with 60 seconds to go, they aren't even able to get that first checkpoint, or Excelsior kind of standing strong on circuit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super impressed right now. This has been a little bit difficult for Boston to be able to get through. Kellen, in order to come back, is on the Doomfist right now. I'm not sure how I feel about that one, given how Doomfist's success rate's pretty low this stage, but there's no Sombra on Boston's side, so maybe Kellen is still going to be able to get something.
Little short hop there, using the shift to get a nice little double punch, but that was about it. Window very far forward for the Excelsior, forcing Seeker all the way back. And Victoria's dead. The Boston Uprising hanging on to their last limbs. And Seeker just taking the ego duel there against Flora, or I should say the other way around. Flora taking the ego duel against Seeker, which just almost run into the spawn. There are kills going the way of the Uprising as Yaki falls, but someone still needs to touch that point. It's unlikely that Boston will be able to get there. No, Victoria with the deflect, no dash. Excelsior holding that payload, what, like a meter or two before that first point? What a turnaround for New York.
That was a huge clutch to deny Boston that first checkpoint, and now that line is in the sand. It's been drawn. New York know exactly how far that payload needs to go in order to keep them in the series. And New York have been a fighting team this stage, Jack. Even just over the course of the season, we've seen New York improve and improve and improve. And I think Kellen really needs to be given a lot of credit for how much work and effort he's been putting in. Whether it was the Zarya, just getting those grabs online super fast, and outpacing Punk this time around, that was pretty critical. Or playing the Doomfist to be able to have that clutch factor to get back and seal the deal on that first point hold. I've been really impressed with how Kellen has been performing this stage, and he's been putting in a lot of work and effort.
They have been scrappy.
Yeah.
I think that's the team's motto. I mean, just in the Countdown Cup alone, they've gone 3-2 against Toronto Defiant. They won that series.
Yeah.
They played the Gladiators and went to map number 5.
Yes, they did.
Guys ended up winning that 3-2. They took a map off of Washington. They did go down 3-0 both to Atlanta Reign and London, but still taking all these game 5s, like that's kind of what you expect from Excelsior. Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be fair, even in mid-season madness, it was like 3-2 here, 3-2 there, 3. You know what I mean? Like they're one of the scrappier teams in the league.
Yeah, I mean, like their losses have been closer as we have progressed through the season, and their wins have also looked good when they have gotten them. So let's see what New York can do. They know where that payload has to go, and it's just barely before that first checkpoint. First pick is going to open up everything here for New York to just kind of push forward.
Well, it's actually Boston get that first pick. On to Seeker. I'm sure there's much they can do about it. I love the approach that Boston are taking too, holding this far forward, because they know if they hold here, you probably get 2.5 fights rather than just 2 if they hold on that little bridge. So, pretty nice way to assault these things. Oh, what a shot by Yaki there. He took the entire bush out, plus Seeker's head. Yeah. Flora doesn't end up going down, but remember how close these spawns are. That land being used, Punk is just getting hard focused. An early window from Crimzo as he's teaming up the rest of his team. Yaki left on an island for Victoria to scoop up. They might be able to regroup as 5 here. That Boston Uprising. Punk's near in the grab, like a right click. Randy right now just flinging them to the back line. However, that window from Ho1 super far back near their spawn doors will open these things. Will open this one up. 2 big ultimates online for Boston Uprising. 3 if you count that sound barrier coming up soon. Beat and the blade. 2.5 minutes. I mean, that's a lot of time to burn off that bank. And now they get their 2 fights, right?
Yes, they do. Yeah, Boston will be able to come back here, and it was Seeker that was the last to die on payload to be able to help contest some of that progress. And with that mobility, Soldier's going to come back right away so that you can get this really nice hold here around this boutique corner.
You might be able to put the lamp in the window. Ooh, okay, they did manage to get the lamp and followed up perfectly there by the beat. Still a lot of low health members on the side of the Uprising, but Victoria's pulled that blade and Yaki has put to an end. Excelsior still content with kind of holding this corner though, as Flora uses that overclock. Punk goes super low, someone please save him. He can't save himself for too long. Double bubble already used, he takes a headshot body shot from Flora's overclock. And now Flora on a beautiful little angle. Not really much room to play with if you're the Uprising, as that payload is moving towards that white box of victory. Can a Boston Uprising touch in time? They got that half fight, they've already used their 2. Here comes Punk back on the Doom, but Crimzo's already dead. Kellen made a beeline for the back line, as now Punk is focused down. Just a blade from Yaki will do it. He even says hello to Victoria in the end. Excelsior keeping it as scrappy as ever. We're going to a map number 4.
Yeah, whoa, that is so scrappy, but it worked out, and now New York get a chance to show us why they've been able to have so many 4-5 map series this season.
All right, we wanted Excelsior to go out with a bang, and I guess here it starts. We'll have to see if we go all the way to a map number 5 to keep it as close as possible after the break. Don't go anywhere. Hey, welcome back. Excelsior keeping this one competitive. Alrighty. That was a hell of a first hold on circuit. We are going on to New Queen Street for our push map. See if they can do the same like they did Toronto Defiant Gladiators, taking that all the way to map number 5. It's kind of crazy thinking about it, Rose, that Gladiators map 5. Not something we'd ever thought we'd see. It being that close against the Glads, but shows their true potential. This is why I've been a New York believer for a long time.
Yep.
But it's a bit unfortunately their season is already kind of done and dusted. This being their last game of 2022.
Yeah, this is going to be their last regular season match, and for Boston, they're already solidified as the 10th seed going into play-ins. Their win here or loss here will not change that. So I think that's why a lot of us are like, hey, maybe New York can finish the season strong with a win. That would be really exciting for them, just given how they have improved over the entirety of the season. New York at the very beginning were winless. And really were struggling to try to find their footing into how they wanted to play, who they wanted to field, and they finally seemed to get their act together and have really woken up, especially adding in some new coaches and really figuring out what people's star roles are. It's been really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, it has. It has. I'm just bewildered sometimes, I think. You know, we always kind of joke about how the talent is there and stuff, but New York have been a team to take, like, the Dallas Fuel to a Game 5, Glads to a Game 5, Houston to a Game 5, yeah, that's a word. You know, even taking maps off San Francisco Shark, like, yeah, it has been a team that's been quite fun to watch. So unfortunately, their journey will end here. Like you said, Boston, if they win or lose, they're kind of locked in that place. Anyway, so all good.
Good. Maybe we do see a map 5 here, but New York have to win this one. Otherwise, Boston will take the map and the series. I mean, New Queen Street is just kind of an interesting map when you look at just the data for both of these teams because of how many map 4s and 5s you've seen from New York. I've actually seen them play New Queen Street exactly once, but this is one of their wins over the Gladiators, which is really fun. So maybe that bodes well for them against the Boston Uprising, who have played this map also once this stage, and it was a win over the Washington Justice.
They've even played it once. Nice.
Well, a lot of teams have either won or lost in like 3 maps, I feel like, and it's really Boston and New York that have been scrappy enough to get them to a 4+ map, which would give them push.
Now jumping into a brief pause. Looks like both teams are ready. It was just Crimzo saying his mic kept muting himself, but it's all good. He fixed it very quickly. Yeah, okay, both teams are ready. All good. No long pauses, don't worry. Don't worry.
Communication is important. It is a team game. That would be bad if you can't call out if you can't hear the call out that Crimzo has lamp or doesn't have lamp, and then you go aggressive. That would be bad.
Yeah. Although with the ping, I guess you can't really use the ping system to mark it out, like they don't have a cooldown.
Yeah. Maybe you can get creative.
If I don't join voice, I won't feel nearly as bad if the ping system exists now. All good.
Oh, you have that spray though that's like no death, I think, for BAP, so you can use that one instead too. I don't have ammo. Spray it.
Victoria is on the Soldier. Mr. 76 is on the field. Alrighty. I like this play from the Boston Uprising.
Okay.
Man, I just remember Soldier on this map when it was Soldier meta, Soldier Bison meta. Just like sprinting to the back line with the speed boost, the damage players used to have. Nutty.
Oh, I wasn't super expecting to see the Soldier 76 here. I kind of missed it because we went to the pause, but the Soldier is an interesting choice just given that you do have the ability to place down that heal station. Helps with a bit of a flank if you want to take that, the mobility as well. You do have some really nice angles to play with here on New Queen Street. I mean, I think Sparker Soldier 76 on the London Spitfire was a great example of the mobility and how you can use that to find some nice off angles, but Victoria's just kind of pushed the pressure here.
He is. Luckily, he's got those legs to run away, though. All good. All good. Even Gandalf Juniaki can't chase those. Well, Punk does end up going down. No ults were expended. Speaking of expending ults, Crimso's going to use that window. He's going to be able to get any damage done. Looks like Ho1s are in a little bit of pressure. Same with Flora. That window doing a significant amount of work, but they are still down a tank. So Excelsior might want to march on this one. There's the visor from Victoria. He's got no nano, but it's still doing work. Beat from Excelsior a little bit too late to save one of their DPS. In fact, they bring a ton into this fight. Even that Graviton Surge being utilized, using 3 ults to try and take control of that bot.
I mean, when you want to try to play with momentum, that's one way to grab it. It's just by throwing every ultimate you have available and hoping that it all works out. I mean, it was good timing as well from Kellen. Victoria didn't have the heal station cooldown available. It was like 1 second away from being able to be popped down, even though that might not have been enough because of how much damage Kellen took from the bubble that was used to mitigate that tack visor there from Victoria. So just like that, New York's going to take the lead here, and they're going to try to take this checkpoint as well, but maybe not if Seeker has anything to say about that with the overclock.
Yeah, this corner kind of notorious for that overclock. Just jump around it as quick as lightning. He's trying to get an angle or some kind of summon. But the issue is there is obviously the bus in the way. There's a ton of like little bits of cover. But if you can kind of jump around, get the one shot, you might be good. Look at this. Okay. So Flora's not really, well, he's close to his overclock. Hasn't pulled it yet. Seeker's going to run out before he manages to pick up a kill. Excelsior playing this one rather patiently as the robot is basically reset. I mean, he's back on the middle pavilion. Punk's in a little bit of trouble. Someone saved him. He actually has to get lamped. The Graviton Surge does end up coming out as the window and beat are thrown in by the Uprising, capitalizing on top of that grab. Excelsior now running for the hills. Very little members remain. Yeah, oh, don't test that one, Faye. Yeah, he's got dash.
Yeah.
Like the dash melee, easy kill.
Dash, melee, deflect, that's just a big... That just results in a big problem. I wouldn't want to deal with that either.
You die, you feed. You die, you feed in that situation.
Yes.
Get Punk back. I mean, he's still got the lead too, so it feels pretty good, but that checkpoint is sometimes rather tough to get to because the high ground from the defender's side.
Yeah, it's super tough. I mean, look at how New York are trying to wrap around this to try to bully Boston off.
All right, blade pull, deflect used. Bubbles actually saving people. Can Punk save himself? Oh, doesn't need saving because Victoria is on the case. All good. Buys it. Well, okay, so but goodbye, Victoria. Jump round the corner. Got one tap by Ho1, who's standing behind that window. All right, we'll take that. I will point out, Rose, one very funny observation that I've made playing ranked, rather degen ranked player myself. All right, after this fight, though, there's the grab. Faith is dead. That was a good pick off by Seeker. Ho1 ended up going down. Yeah, that Graviton Surge from Kellen. They know they have to win this fight in this situation because the meterage is fairly close, and they are grouping as 5 now.
They
but
also
yeah,
don't.
Observation
But they don't want to like give up the point either. That was all I wanted to say.
Yeah, no. I mean, ideally there you do win the fight. You lose your speed Ho1 back, and then you get a better position. You don't want to really obviously let the checkpoint go, but you can't let Boston Uprising regroup as 5 and then have 5-on-5 fight there on the corner. Now, what do Boston Uprising really do? Well, they lose their Lucio. Flora is on a nice little off angle, but does get checked by Seeker. Good bit of approach here, good aggression by Excelsior. They push the rest of Boston Uprising either down the main street or up those stairs to the left-hand side, and they are going to be able to get a checkpoint off of this.
No one's going to be able to come in and touch, and you don't even have the resources to invest in order to sustain either. You know, if you had the sound barrier, maybe you go in, use that a little selfishly, and try to stall for as long as possible to be able to follow that up with the damage that you have from Crimso's Amp Matrix and the Overclock, but at least you can use them now to try to push it back.
This ends
Overclock a window. Well, the robot is going to start moving. Seeker can't really use that window as it's so far back. Look at the distance he has to kind of push. Even Dimwell goes for that kill on Flora. Wow, mad respect to the New York Excelsior. I felt like if you're in Serlicky, your Sojourn 100% goes for that, but you can see on the other side, he was too scared of Ho1 using that window in the corner, which he did. However, still, in this rather scrappy fight, Yaki is the first to fall. However, Trait across the board. New York Excelsior lose both DPS. And with Punk saving the grab, this looks like a potential checkpoint for Boston now.
Alright, what about your ranked games?
what I was saying is, Overwatch League games, obviously they play out like super different from ranked games, but like I've noticed Push is the most different, like straight up.
Oh,
it is
100%.
I think it's because players don't know how to play it just yet. Obviously the rank has not been out for like too long, so it kind of makes sense, but unbelievable difference between ranked and Overwatch League. More than normal. Graviton Surge used, same with that beat. This fight is going to be rather healthy, but not for long. Checkpoint has been unlocked by the Boston Uprising as Flora makes Victoria pay for his sins using a visor without a nano, as the Excelsior now have that high ground kind of utilized, but the Boston Uprising still more willing to play up. Overwatch just kind of chilling in the front line, not even with his Zarya. A little bit of a feed there, and what is this? Okay, Excelsior, they're going in. I mean, Checkpoint guarded by the Boston Uprising,
and
Jin wants to be able to win this fight, reset, get a clean one, and then run the bot back. Boston Uprising have just half a meter in the lead right now. With 2 minutes to go, that could be the big difference.
It really could be. That's unfortunate timing there. You wanted to have the sound barrier to be able to stop Boston from grabbing the lead, and you just narrowly missed it.
Grab at the corner is pretty good. No beat for Fate, but that blast from Crimzo was godlike. However, he does end up going down. Forward spawns for Excelsior now as the robot makes it back to that checkpoint. It's again an unbelievably scrappy fight. Nice deflect by Yaki. Sends that railgun straight back at Seeker. It's actually just Yaki versus the world, it feels like, in this fight. With no Gangnam Jin to speed back. Look, Excelsior have to play super far away. Kellen regains half of his HP with those shields, and they do manage to take that lead. 1 minute and 30 seconds to go. As Excelsior wanting to take this to a map number 5.
They're just going to play to keep the lead now. You could see how smart and how quick they were to back up away from Boston Uprising spawn. They have that forward positioning as of right now before that bot ends up moving past that halfway point. But this is New York's time to shine. They've got to buy time off the clock here and elongate these fights. It's 1 minute and 10 seconds left.
A couple of shots there from Seeker to connect with Flora, but that's about it. Once again, Excelsior playing this rather split, I will say. Oh, nice camera transition. There you go, perfect placing now. See that robot marching around that corner. All right, New Excelsior, they're going to get grabbed. Can Kellen survive? Absolutely not. Overwhelming amount of damage. Boston Uprising with 45 seconds are going to take the lead for themselves. This is an unreal push map we're seeing right now. Back and forth with who's taking the lead. But with 30 seconds to go, this play from Yaki is going to have to be large.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to look at that, but Victoria's going to go first.
Yeah, Victoria unleashing that dragon. There goes the lab. There goes the health bars, the backline for Excelsior. Kennedy running to the corners of the map. But Victoria is chasing him down. Kellen is also cut apart. 15 seconds, and the bot is continuing its push to that final point. They're probably not even going to need to get it there, to be fair. Oh, Yaki in the back. Okay, he's got no ult. Okay, he has been spotted. He's been sussed out.
Okay, they're going to get there, though. All right, contesting is happening.
All right, window. Excelsior with 4 ults. You can't possibly fold now. Both support ults used on top of each other, but they're making it work. Still, Flora goes low, but it's Gangnam Jin that is filling that kill feed. But now Excelsior, to take us to a map number 5, need to be perfect.
They've got to win 2 more team fights here as that bot starts to hustle back to their own barricade to push it forward. But you're going to have one right around the midpoint here as Boston start making their way back with those forward spawns. And you're also going to have another one right towards the end. And so New York, yeah, they're going to have to use the grab here. Try not to use everything. Grab first.
Yeah, pretty good grab. Punk's already used both of his bubbles, but not taken out just yet. How is the pocket this good? He eventually ends up going down. Same with Crimzo. 30 meters stands in between Excelsior and taking us to a map 5 if they use the grab and the overclock. A neutral fight for Excelsior, unlike the other side of things with Seeker with the railgun. He started off the season strong with his first game on Sojourn. Can he make it a 2-piece for Boston?
He's gonna have to, because that overclock is gonna have to shut everything on New York down. They don't want to give him enough time to be able to get anything online like that sound barrier.
Big off angle there from Gangnam Jin and Yaki, but they're going to have to join the fight sooner or later. Seeker's got that railgun. He hits Flora in the body, but a little bit too scared to step up. Yaki's going to check him on the sidelines too. Lamp already used by Ho1. Go time for Excelsior as they try and dive the backline, but Ho1's already dead. It's a race to the finish line for the Excelsior, but they can't quite step over the mark. Yaki is on the point. Victoria's pulled the blade, and that'll be it. The Boston Uprising. Oh, even Gangnam Jin getting Ajax to the very end. That'll be Excelsior's season. Unfortunately, finishing it with a loss, but a big win for the Boston Uprising, finishing theirs strong.
Yeah, what a confidence booster here for Boston as they look ahead towards the play-ins next weekend for the West. But New York, what a show! Jack, that was close. I have not seen a push map like that all season about how back and forth that was.
Yes, way closer than you could. That could have gone to map 5. It really could have.
That could have gone to map 5.
Excelsior still looking like one of the more scrappy teams, but you know, we are going to bid farewell to New York for the regular season. It's been an interesting one, I think, for New York. 4-19 on a scoreline a lot of people expected. They've had some very standout plays. They once had 3 flex supports, they needed a main support, and that was a whole giant thing. But Excelsior managed to kind of figure themselves out during the latter half of the season. But the Boston Uprising do take the dub here today. They do have one more match, the Boston Uprising. They do have Paris tomorrow, so that'll round out their season. But they've already made the plan, so
yeah.
It's all good. It's just a fanfare at this point. More Seeker gameplay, I can imagine, tomorrow.
Yeah, why not? I mean, this has been a great look here for Boston. Not only did we see Seeker getting flexed into the roster, but also Faith seeing a little bit more playtime for this stage as well. It really has been about MCD and Crimzo playing next to each other for the backline of Boston, and I think having Faith in has allowed Boston to rely a little bit more on that Lucio, which has been really fun for them and also very successful. But I mean, what a great showing here from both teams, but it was Boston that comes out on top today.
Yes, it was. And player of the match, I think we better do Boston the honors of this one. They'll get another chance for player of the match. See if they can, this player can make it a twofer. Victoria is going to be our player of the match today. First time playing Genji. It looked pretty damn clean with him, on all honesty, Rose.
There were so many moments where, you know, Victoria was just able to use the architecture to kind of slash and dash through. Maybe it wasn't the, you know, the most flashy plays all the time. Like, this is not the highest damage output Genji we've seen all season, but it was very calculated. And I think that was what surprised me the most about this Genji. And then the Soldier 76 too. That was wild. We haven't seen that since, like, the first half of the season.
Yeah, I think we've seen a little bit of Soldier here and there, but yeah, nothing like the start of the season. Victoria, there is his Genji stats. They're more interesting than the Soldier ones, let's be real. Let's be real with ourselves. 1.1 Dragon Blade kills per 10. I mean, you're just forcing ults with the Dragon Blade more often than not there. Deaths, you know, a little bit higher, but eliminations are great. 19 elims per 10.
Yeah.
8.7 final blows. We're on now to 9 for you. 9 final blows per 10. Hero damage not looking too bad either. Yep, that were Victoria. Well, maybe we can do the same again against the Paris Eternal. That'll be tomorrow's game. We still got one more game today, though. Florida Mayhem versus the Houston Outlaws. Just the Florida Mayhems. That's going to be their last game of the regular season. Houston still have one tomorrow against the Toronto Defiant. But yeah, it's crazy. We're second to last day of regular season, and we jump into play-ins row. It's going to be a good one. We're going to jump to a quick break, though. We've got Houston and Florida after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Game Break, everybody. I'm here joined now by Seeker from Boston Uprising. Seeker, congratulations on the win. I think this is my first time talking to you, so how are you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. Good win, you know.
You're doing good? Yeah. Why are you guys, sorry, my coworker here are laughing at me for no reason, and now I can't focus. So I'm just gonna jump right in. I mean, you know, you've joined the league, I guess. I think it was towards the later end of the season, but I mean, as soon as you came in and you were popping off. So like, how's your time on Boston Uprising have been?
Well, I kind of came in before I was like too old to play, so I was just sitting back for a bit, and then of course we had like our Korean roster to go through. But my time's been pretty nice. It's nice like being in like a team house full like all my teammates and learning everything. It's pretty cool to see everybody in person. Yeah,
I mean, and also, you know, we've seen you on that Sojourn role and you've been popping off a lot. Even like, I think the first time we saw you was against Vancouver Titans and you really popped off on the Sojourn. Even today as well against New York Excelsior. So do you think your Sojourn play have evolved throughout your time in the Overwatch League?
I definitely think so. I feel like when I first came into that game versus Vancouver, this meta is actually kind of similar, but I feel like I was a little bit inexperienced. I still felt comfortable on the role, but I wasn't as confident as I am now with the character. I feel like I'm one of the most underrated players for like Sojourn when it comes to it.
Okay. You say that you're sort of underrated. I don't think so. I think you're the greatest Sojourn, one of the greatest.
Thank you.
All right. I also want to ask you because you guys are going into the play-ins as well, sort of the underdogs. Does that put more pressure on you, or do you think that puts less pressure on Boston Uprising?
Puts way less pressure on us. I love being underdog. I love making people angry when they lose to me. I live off of it. I'm fueled by people's anger. That's why I like to banter a lot in chat, and it just makes me feel way more confident. They're so scared to lose to us.
All right, Seeker, that's all the questions I have. Thank you so much for your time, and again, big congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Seeker. Congratulations to the Boston Uprising. Love that energy.
I love that.
Right?
Fueled by anger.
Genuinely, like after his first match against the Vancouver Titans, he just sort of came in. He came out confident. He was blowing raspberries at the camera. He does exude that confidence. He does give those vibes of like, he's a nice guy, but he wants to be the villain. He wants to make teams and fans upset who play against him and fear playing against him. It's like kind of like Dogman back in the day in a way. No one like wanted.
But you're not a villain. You're more like an anti-hero. So you're still loved. You're not evil per se.
Yeah, but you know, you love the chaos. He's thriving in the chaos.
Yeah, actually, we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Villain. We're about to become more of an anime. It's gonna be crazy.
The script writes itself, everyone. We do have to kind of summarize that match. There was a caster coming to you for this one. How do you think Boston managed to get the upper hand? And more importantly, how did New York snatch that one map away?
Yeah, we got to see our last little bit of the New York Excelsior as they finished their season 4-20. Upsetting for that. Obviously, they just never really came together as a whole team. They did have some holes in their roster, and you know, today was no exception to that. They had their moments of brilliance. They had their moments, you know, we saw that on Circa Real, where they were able to get that full hold and, you know, get that first map win. But, you know, other than that, Boston Uprising really just showing that they are the better team, primarily playing around Punk on that Zarya hero we know he's comfortable with. The big surprise for me was not Seeker coming in to play the Sojourn, who is very good at his role, was Victoria, actually. In the past, we've seen Valentine exclusively be playing that Genji for the Boston Uprising. Victoria picked it up, looked pretty good. It wasn't anything standout or exceptional, but he did his job. So I'm curious to see how that's going to go for them moving forward.
Yeah, I think the biggest complaint for the Boston Uprising, honestly, has for a large part of the season then, that they haven't had the mechanical skill to really win them some of these matches when they're hanging on by just a thread. Now, they're playing against the New York Excelsior here. I like putting Seeker in the lineup. I mean, we were both vouching for him going into this match, and I want to see more of Seeker in the play-ins as well. And it seems like he is their designated Sojourn player. But Valentine so far this year has been kind of mid. Victoria as well hasn't really had those stand-up performances. And when you look at all the other teams in the league, Hydron for the Florida Mayhem, Merit for the Houston Outlaws, Decay on the Washington Justice, I mean, even Hisu on the Tournament Finals, right? With Finale, all those have some good matches. We haven't really seen that type of damage play from the Boston Uprising, and I think Seeker, you know, from his series against the Vancouver Titans earlier in the year, that was like the one time the Boston Uprising damage players really popped off and just like, wow!
Like, took control of the game,
Control of the game, and just like, we are the guys popping off here. So that's what we want to see from the Boston Uprising. So I don't mind them changing things up here as we get closer.
You want to break up the V brothers?
I'm breaking up the V brothers.
Even though 2 V
No more.
spell W?
Sometimes
it doesn't have to be a love story.
Sometimes a V's just a V. You
Yeah,
know, it doesn't.
sometimes it's just not a W.
It doesn't need to be a dub. You can find different ways of getting that dub.
It can still be a dub, but it doesn't have to be by 2 V's.
By 2 V's, yeah.
And tomorrow we do numbers. Right here at the desk. Well, we have one more game for everyone out there. So before we're heading into that one, let's take a look at the standings, because there is some stuff on the line here for this upcoming match. Because if Florida wins, they actually will be locking in the number 7 seed, and that means they will guarantee face Boston Uprising in the play-ins. Now, if Florida loses, then everything will be decided in the last match tomorrow. So everything will be decided in the final match of the regular season. What a story that will be.
It's kind of interesting because, like, I would say the weakest, and I don't want to throw a random stray at Toronto Defiant, but I would say out of those four, Toronto looks the weakest right now. So if you're the Florida Mayhem, I know that sounds a little harsh, but yeah, I think so. Their match that they played recently was just not very impressive.
Okay, well, that was a singular match. They got top 3.
You're living in the past, Johnny. Get your head out of the clouds. That's last
stage. Of course I live in the past.
What?
I don't even know where that came from. But yeah, no, not talking about that, talking about this match. I'm excited to see it. The ride or die with the Florida Mayhem has been a trip, and it's been successful for you.
So far, it's been paying off for me.
But the last time the Houston Outlaws played, they dominated the Dallas Fuel.
I have zero confidence in this pick. I absolutely not. I just feel like gotta give back to the homies in pink, because they've done a lot for me this season in terms of Preds. So I want to throw them on as well. And if they win, I look like an absolute genius. If not, then, well, I said it here. I'm not confident about this one. Jaws Necra, how are your predictions looking for this one?
Well, Rose, do you want to go first? I think it's pretty obvious, but yeah, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Necro, you swapped.
Yeah,
what happened to space?
Come on.
Oh, listen, I had to change because I felt so out of